Well, hello there. It is a few minutes to 4 o'clock East African time. Good afternoon. I trust you're having a wonderful day. Welcome to News Now right here on TV47, the home of untold stories. We have a lot lined up for you at this hour, but let's take a look at a sneak peek of our top stories at this hour. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission announces that salary reviews for all public servants shall not be effected for the financial year 2024-2025.
Na sisi kama serikali hatuna ugomvi wowote na wanahabari hata kidogo, na yule ambaye ni mwanahabari.
Government now calls the media to the dialogue table following accusations of direct attack on journalists while on duty.
Na kwa hivyo wanahabari, tungependa kutoa kauli kama serikali, tuko tayari kuzungumziana na nyinyi, tuweze kuona kwamba mnafanya kazi yenu ipasavyo.
Plus, case in which controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie is accused of murdering 191 children adjourned to next week after the defense failed to file submissions on the prosecution's application to oppose bond in time. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you so much for choosing TV47 to inform you. I am George Maringa. Government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura now says the government is ready to have dialogue with the media in the wake of claims of direct attacks on journalists while on duty. Mwaura, who was speaking just days after incidents where journalists have been on the receiving end in Nakuru and here in Nairobi, admitted that it has not been easy for journalists.
Hatutabaki na nchi nyingine yoyote, na sisi kama serikali hatuna ugomvi wowote na wanahabari hata kidogo, na yule ambaye ni mwanahabari alikuwa ameshikwa kwa njia ambayo haifai, aliweza kuachiliwa na polisi, wakaweza kusema kwamba hiyo ilikuwa mistaken identity, na inawezekana kwamba usijulikane wewe ni nani. Kwa sababu hata mimi kuna watu unifananisha na mwingine. Kwa mfano kuna mbunge mwenzangu anaitwa Martin Pepela, watu ufikiri ni mimi na yeye. Kwa hiyo hilo ni jambo ambalo tunafaa kukubali kwamba linaweza kutendeka. Na kwa hivyo wanahabari, tungependa kutoa kauli kama serikali, tuko tayari kuzungumziana na nyinyi, tuweze kuona kwamba mnafanya kazi yenu ipasavyo kwa njia ya uhuru na bila kuegemea upande wote mwingine. Na pia tuseme kwamba tafadhali wa Kenya, hata hii mambo ya kule Kware, sasa hivi kulingana na takwimu za polisi ni watu 10 ambao wameweza kupatikana, na wote ni akina mama ama kwa jinsia ya kike. Kwa hiyo ni mambo ya femicide, ni mauaji ya femicide, mauaji ya kijinsia, na wacha wale ambao wanafanya upelelezi, polisi na DCI, waweze kufanya kazi yao bila ya sisi kuweka kile ambacho hakiko, hususan kwa jambo zima tu hili ambalo ni la ugaidi, na uhuni mkubwa sana ambao umetokana na mauaji yale.
Away from that, it is emerging that one of the youth who were shot dead by police officers in the Gen Z anti-government protests in Kibwezi, Makueni County, had warned his fellow youth against participating in the protests. According to his neighbors, Dennis Lubanga, who used to live at Mjini area in Kibwezi town, was killed outside the main entrance of his home a few minutes after he left work at a sisal firm.
Dennis Lubanga and Alex Moteti died on the spot from gunshot wounds. Their deaths occurred in the same area when the police were engaging protesters in running battles.
Ule jamaa last word yake kuniambia kabla atoke pale, aliniambia yeye apendi maandamano na tusiende kwa hiyo maandamano. So hata yeye hakuwa hapo kabisa, na ile hata si kama walimshutile, ni kama wali execute. Juu walimpiga risasi na wakaingia kwa gari wakicheka. Si mazee hatusikii poa, juu wale polisi si tunajua wanafaa kutulinda.
More than 10 people were injured in these protests, including police officers. This coming at a time when police officers continue to be called out for using excessive force against demonstrators.
Kila nikikaa nikifikiria naona kama ambaye ni uongo. Sijaamini hicho kitendo. Na kusema ukweli hata Mungu mwenyewe atalipia kwa sababu ni kama wamemdhulumu huyo kijana.
Alikuwa hata si mlevi, akuli miadarati, alikuwa yeye ni kuamka kwenda kazi.
Polisi wanatumia nguvu kuliko kiasi, sababu wao badala kuwa watulivu, sababu watu wanaandamana maandamano ya amani, wao wanaanza kutumia bullets.
Today, this area is experiencing deep sadness following the 2 deaths, a somber aftermath of the anti-government protest by Gen Z protesters. Anastasia Mkabi, TV47.
Thank you, Anastasia. The Salaries and Renumeration Commission, SRC, has now deferred the implementation of the salary review for all other public officers in the financial year 2024-2025. This, they say, is because of the emerging fiscal constraints and budget cuts emanating from the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024. The Commission, after consultation with the Treasury, aims to ensure fiscal sustainability of the public compensation bill. It says annual salary notch adjustments will continue to be applied within budget allocation. No additional funding will be provided, and the affected CBAs should engage the respective trade unions accordingly. Away from salary matters, the case in which controversial preacher Paul Ndenge Mackenzie and 30 others are accused of murdering 191 children has been adjourned to September 24, 2024, after the defense failed to file submissions on the prosecution's application to oppose bond in time. When the matter came up in a virtual court session on Thursday, Malindi lawyer James Mouko, who is representing Mackenzie and 3 others accused persons, said he had failed to file the submissions on time as his colleague, whom he had directed to do so, fell ill. Malindi High Court Judge Mugure Thande directed Mr. Mouko and his colleague Wycliffe Makasembo, who represent all the accused persons, to file their submissions by August 1st, 2024, and told Mr. Mouko to notify Mr. Makasembo, who was not present during the court session.
Imerudisha joto la kisiasa katika Kenya kidogo, na pia wale vijana wetu Gen Z wameona kwamba rais anaweza sikiza. Ila tu mimi naomba decision yake ya pili, ya kwanza
Shock and grief engulfed Sibaik village in Bureti constituency, Kericho County, after the bodies of 2 minors aged 6 and 8 were found tied in a blanket and buried in a shallow grave inside their grandmother's compound. The police have now launched a manhunt for their mother, who is believed to be on the run after committing the heinous crime. The bodies were moved to Kapkatet Sub-County Hospital mortuary, awaiting post-mortem.
Tukachukua nafasi na OCS Kabartega location police station na tukakuja mpaka scene. Katika ile hali ya kufunua, tukakuja kugundua kwamba ni watoto wawili ambao miaka yao ni miaka ya 8 na 6. msichana na mvulana, na tumeambiwa kwamba kuna msichana wa familia hii ambaye alipotea na watoto, na tunaona kwamba huenda hao watoto wenye walipotea ni hao wenye wamesikwa hapa. Watoto wameosa, but tunangojea homicide detectives ili tuweze tukajua mengi zaidi.
Nilikuwa nikiendelea na kazi zangu za kinyumbani. Baada ya dakika kidogo hivi nikasikia kuna harufu nyingine ilikuwa nikisikia, alafu kulikuwa na madogi. Maumbo walikuwa wanakulana. Sasa mimi nikaenda ukonfirm wanakulania nini. Kwenda kufika hapo nikapata kulikuwa na mtoto mwenye ameuawa na alikuwa amefunikwa na blanketi. Nyuso zao zimeoza, huwezi ukajua huyu ni nani.
Different sector leaders in the country have come out to urge the Gen Z to stop the ongoing demonstrations that have been witnessed in the country for weeks now. Speaking in Nairobi today, the Secretary General for Kenya National Private Security Workers Union, Isaac Andabwa, has called upon the Gen Z to give the President time to attend to their plea, further stating that dialogue is the best way for communication and handling their demands.
I want to take this particular opportunity and a request and a plead with the youth of this country that their concerns have been heard by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya. And their concerns, according to Kenyans and ourselves as leaders, they are genuine. But my request to them, we have seen so many lives have been lost. We have seen properties destroyed, which means people with a different agenda infiltrated in the protest. They interfered with the genuine agenda that was being driven by the Gen Z. Therefore, I want to plead with them. The President has begun taking serious measures on their request or demands. He has dissolved the cabinet. He is also saying he wants to come up with a government of national unity. And he is going again to deal with the issues decisively that the youth or Gen Z have raised.
Now, President William Ruto has been urged to also consider appointing youth as cabinet secretaries as a way of ending the ongoing anti-government protests in the country. Nonetheless, Mayoni member of the County Assembly in Kakamega County, Frederick Watitwa, commended the president for dissolving the cabinet, adding that his action helped reduce the tension in the country.
Imerudisha joto la kisiasa katika Kenya kidogo, na pia wale vijana wetu Gen Z wameona kwamba rais anaweza sikiza. Ila tu mimi naomba decision yake ya pili, ya kwanza tumeisupport because hawa mawaziri walikuwa wamesahau kufanya kazi yao ya mawaziri na wakaingilia maneno ya siasa na kwanza kudharau viongozi wengine na kwanza kudharau pia watu ambao waliwapigia kura. Ni kama wale tunaweza sema kwamba wao watu walikuja wakashiba wakaanza kutapikia watu ambao wako na njaa, ambapo sio mzuri. So baraza la mawaziri ambayo rais wetu natarajia anytime asome hilo mawaziri wake ambao tunaenda kuendelea nao kama serikali, mimi naomba consider vijana. Because hao wazee hakuna kitu kingine watakuja kutuambia, watakuja kufanya na mtu amekuwa kiongozi kuanzia chini. Mtu amekuwa mbunge, mtu amekuwa senator, mtu amekuwa governor, amefikisha miaka 70, amekula kwa serikali kuanzia utoto wake. Ukisema una reshuffle, unatoa huyu, unaweka the same person, hapo hatakuwa anasaidia nchi. Atafute fresh minds, fresh viongozi na wakuwe vijana pia, wakuwe pale ndani, tusukume nje tukijua tuko na watu ambao hawajai kuwa kwa serikali na tuko na watu ambao tunajua tukiongea watasikia.
The Coalition of Associations of Persons with Disabilities has called upon the President to appoint at least 2 persons with disabilities in the new cabinet as per Article 54(2) and 81(c) of the Constitution. Speaking during a conference in Nairobi, a press conference, they stated that the previous cabinet was not up to legal standards, underscoring the need for adherence to constitutional provisions and ensuring inclusive representation, adding that the President now has the perfect opportunity to chart a new path.
Mheshimiwa Rais angalie maswala ya inclusion in all aspects, may it be appointive, may it be in employment, that persons with disabilities wako well represented, kwa sababu hadi tunajua katiba yetu inasema person with disability 5% in every sector in employment.
Naomba tu wakati wa mazungumzo ama wakati atakuwa anatengeneza cabinet aweze kuconsider watu wawili katika cabinet, watu ambao wako na ulemavu.
Humbly request you this time as we form another cabinet, consider appointing at least 2 cabinet secretaries for persons with disability.
Fellow Kenyans, to put our country first, embrace and prioritize patriotism and safeguard the hard-won gains of our nation. Destructive actions and violence only set us back and jeopardize our collective progress. Dialogue is the cornerstone for resolving our differences. We urge all stakeholders to engage in constructive dialogue to foster understanding and chart a path forward that respect the rights and dignity of every citizen.
Kericho Society coffee farmers took to the streets protesting over poor payment rates of coffee cherries. The protests led to paralyzed transport activities for hours along Nairobi-Karatina-Nyeri Highway with an aim to call out the current management. They blocked the road and lit bonfires demanding the ouster of that management.
Tunakuja hapa kudemonstrate kwa sababu ya pesa kidogo imetolewa. Huyo mtu amekuja kufinyilia wakulima. Sisi watu kulima, sisi tuko nyumbani juu ya school fees, hatuwezi lipiwa, wazazi hawana kitu, pesa ni kidogo.
Tuko na hasira kama wakulima wa Ngogoini. Tumetolewa rate ya kahawa ambayo tumengojea miezi 4. Tulikuwa tunaingojea mwezi wa 4. Sasa ni mwezi wa 7, karibu mwezi wa 8. Tumekasirika sana. Sasa tunasema kahawa ya Ngogoini ni quantity sio quality. Yeye ndiye broker mkubwa wa kahawa ya wizi. Sasa tunataka huyo mtu atolewe na tuchague wengine wenye wako na uwezo wa kuongoza watu wa Ngogoini. Tumekuja hapa ndio viongozi, hata kama ni Rigiji asikie hii maneno, ajue hatujafurahia na aongee, sababu yeye ndiye mtetezi wetu, na seneta pia tunamuongojea aongee na Kasheri. Yes.
The government, through relevant institutions, is working towards ensuring key strategies and efforts aimed at empowering youth graduates are aligned with the demands of the current job market. This with an aim of producing highly skilled graduates who are not only employable, but also capable of driving innovation and economic growth through self-employment. And this is Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi who has said. Mudavadi said the youth are key actors in nation building as they are the future of a nation and play an integral part within the societal social fabric. Mudavadi, also the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, noted with emphasis the positive global reputation accorded to the Kenyan youth beyond borders, saying their grievances should not water down the remarkable global achievements they have earned globally.
You cannot say they never made mistakes. They did make mistakes, but they held on to the country. We are here today. We shall make our mistakes, all of us. But the country must not go down with our mistakes, because there'll be another generation to come and take over. These are the critical issues that I think we all need to really ponder over and reflect upon. And I can tell you, resuscitating an economy is not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not instant coffee. It takes time. And sometimes it can take a very, very long time. Sit back and imagine what it might take to reconstruct Gaza.
Now, President William Ruto is at a crossroads on his anticipated broad-based cabinet expected to be unveiled this week following mounting pressure from his allies, Gen Zs and the opposition. A section of the president's allies want him to reinstate the best-performing cabinet secretaries, while analysts warn the move will attract a backlash. TV47's Apollo Kamau reports on why President Ruto's further delay in naming the cabinet is likely to attract legal action.
As the nation waits with bated breath on President William Ruto's broad-based cabinet, expected to be unveiled in the course of the week, President Ruto, despite facing the dilemma of giving Kenyans an acceptable cabinet that meets political, regional and gender interests, as well as Gen Z demands, could be taken to court if it takes too long to name his new cabinet, despite the law being silent on timelines.
First of all, he should abandon the idea of national unity, broad-based government, if that means bringing Raila on board. That he should avoid. You must abandon the path that previous presidents have followed in picking their cabinets, which is loyalists, friends, relatives, tribesmen. That must be abandoned for today, because you are addressing a challenge. So it's not just a question of forming cabinet. It's a question of addressing the challenges that include perceptions that people think this country is going the wrong direction.
Cabinet has roles that have been provided in the Constitution to assist with accountability and collective decision making as a senior organ of the executive. So we can't say it's 1 week, it's 10 days or something like that, but it has to be a reasonable period. If it becomes too long, then someone can actually challenge the failure of the president to nominate cabinet secretaries in court and will probably get an order directing the president to appoint a cabinet within a reasonable period.
Pressure is mounting on the president from his allies to reinstate a section of the sacked cabinet secretaries due to institutional memory, but analysts warn the move will attract a backlash, saying the president should appoint a new cabinet made up of technocrats minus politicians.
Look at Duale. Duale, for your information, is a politician, but you have never seen him doing politics. He has been concentrating in the duty which has been given. The likes of Chirchir, the energy minister. Chirchir is somebody who is very keen in what he's doing. I believe the president is going to look into that. He picks up maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so, and bring the experts or those people who have not been doing politics and running around. We have the likes of Kindiki. Kindiki has been performing very well, and we see, I don't want to say he comes from, he's a Kenyan, and he has been doing very good work. You see the likes of Owalo. Owalo has been pushing us to build our ICT centers in our constituencies.
During times like this, it's like sort of shock therapy. You are telling people you understand there is a problem. And that shake-up is part of sorting out that problem. And in our situation today, returning 1 or 2 people is synonymous with returning all of them. So it's like it erases all the good.
I would really be surprised if none of the 22 cabinet secretaries comes back. I would be surprised. In fact, I think it would even be imprudent for the president not to reinstate some of them, because continuity and even good governance, whether it is corporate governance or otherwise, always requires to have a few people who can continue for purpose of experience as new blood is coming in.
The broad-based government push co-opting Azimio leader Raila Odinga into the coming unity government has already split the Azimio coalition, a move likely to trigger a by-election at a time the IEBC is yet to be reconstituted. A fallout on the new cabinet appointments will also put Parliament on the spot, as protesters might disrupt the vetting process, putting MPs under pressure, given the historic invasion of Parliament by Gen Zs. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.